How you doing, everybody? It's your old pal James Larson from 94.1 KRNA Radio right here in beautiful downtown Cedar Rapids. And once again, you're watching the Craft Beer Corner. I bring in my co-host, Drew Knutson from the Mellow Mushroom.
Cheers.
And Kirk Hayden from Metro Studios. Now, a couple weeks ago, we got invited. The Craft Beer Corner is starting to make friends, and there was a drink local event.
Which is very surprising.
I'm very surprised, especially with Grumpy Pants over there.
I
mean, this guy,
but hey,
and
look who was invited.
Shows you how beer unites. Beer can unite.
It was going on at Ben's in downtown Cedar Rapids, and it was a drink local event. And you brought the person that invited us. Introduce your new friend over there, Grumpy.
Yeah, well, hey, you know what? When they're beer friends, they're friends for life, right? Matt Franklin, who is the president of the Cedar Rapids Brewing Society, and talk a little bit about how do you become the president? I mean, what is the Cedar Rapids Brewing Society?
Official, man.
This
is great.
It's a long, arduous journey. It's becoming president. It is a serious role. We got a lot of work we have to do, and we got to manage the group. It's about, I think we have 54 paid members right now. That's the most we've ever had. It used to be like 4 guys when I started back in 2004. So the club, we've had presidents. I'm the 4th one. It tends to be just someone that just does a lot of work. The guys like them. We just do a vote every year. It's typically not heated. It tends to be, yay or nay. One person runs. I think we've only had 2 people run for the office and actually had to count.
And the function of the beer society. What is that? What's your organization do? What's your goals? What's it all about?
Biggest thing is promoting homebrew. We want to have homebrew club is a place where guys who homebrew can come together, and ladies too. We have guys, girls in the club, and it's a way to share your homebrew, learn to brew more. The biggest thing that I stand for with our group is we want to help everyone in our group learn to brew beer and keep brewing better beer.
I've got to ask you, Matt, just for the person who's like me that's watching this, how do you brew beer in the confines of your own your house?
Sure.
How does it, and break it down, the short answer. How do you do it, man?
Man, there's tons of ways. So there's easy, there's complex. Myself, I model how I brew after how you brew in a commercial brewery.
Because I imagine it like Breaking Bad, kind of, but with beer.
It kind of looks that way. I mean, I've heard of people ask if I have a meth lab in my basement, but it's not. But you can go have basically a pot in your kitchen stove, or you can have this multiple, it looks like a miniature brewery like you see in a commercial place. I mean, the whole gamut. You can be using insulated plastic coolers. There's a lot of ways to make homebrew.
So if we have some of our listeners out there who have always said, yeah, I would love, who would not want to make their own beer at home? I mean, come on. But yeah, sometimes I think they think it's too complicated. Really, actually, it's not hard to find home brewed equipment around here.
Correct.
I mean, there's North Liberty. I know down there where I'm at in Iowa City, Coralville, they have a huge store. The Mama store is up here in Cedar Rapids. Home brewing kit you can get, and it's probably 1 or 2 items other than the ingredients you need to put in.
Yeah, I mean, you probably have some stuff in your kitchen, like I said already. You've got a pot, you can use that. You basically need a bucket to ferment, maybe some tubing to move stuff around.
So this event that we were invited to, okay, the Drink Local, he's sporting the
Got
T-shirt.
the shirt on.
On a Saturday afternoon, it was awesome. I walked around, never had been to one of these events. Talk a little bit about what we saw, what we did at this event, because it was really a great balance of home brewers and pro brewers.
A little bit of everything is what it sounds
from
like.
right here in Cedar Rapids, Iowa City area.
And that was new this year. This is the first year we've had pro brewers. So it was our 7th annual festival. The first 6 years we were homebrew only, and that was really important to us. We just wanted to be homebrewers only. But then we kind of started thinking, you're starting to see a separation between big breweries, little breweries, and we got a lot of new guys starting up. And we thought maybe to get more people to come and try homebrew, bring in pro brewers and get more crowd in that might not come just for the homebrew. And it's just the homebrewers and pro brewers have always worked together, and it's just a community, and that kind of helps build on that.
So a pro brewer, that's your commercial brewers? Is that what
correct.
you mean?
Yeah. They're licensed, they can sell you beer.
So I want to ask Kirk, out of all the beers that you tasted, whether it was pro or home, which ones really, do you remember from a couple weeks ago that you really enjoyed?
Absolutely. Well, so Matt and I experimented with a beer that neither of us had, and it was from a brewery in Muscatine called Contrary, I believe it was.
Yep.
And so we walked up there together and tried a German chocolate cake stout. And we both tried it at the same time, and it was
fantastic.
spectacular. I mean,
Contrary's doing good stuff.
Amazing.
Good
Yeah.
stuff.
No,
And
it
their
was-
brewery's growing right now, so we're supposed to, at some point in the future, we're going to start seeing their beer on tap around Cedar Rapids. I'm looking forward to that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Now, to top it all off, and these guys, by the way, like to play pranks on me and jokes with me, and my producer does the same thing, but you tapped a beer at the end of this, okay? And am I okay? Is this
Censor
right?
alert. Censor
Yeah,
alert.
Yeah.
It's Matt's home brew called Your Face.
That is
It's
correct.
Called, did the beep get in there? We got the beep in there. Your Face. So what's going on here, Matt? What do you got me into?
Oh, that was just that was inspired by a Fish song by the same title. And if you go to our festival app, you can read the description for the beer, and it's kind of a version of that, but made for beer, of the lyrics of that song. But basically, it's just a ridiculous statement of let's make the hoppiest, most offensive beer. So every year I have to keep making it stronger and bigger and more hops because everybody's doing that.
It said it's a mouth explosion here on my
Yeah,
copy.
yeah,
A
it's
mouth
crazy.
explosion.
And those are my words. And you guys know how much I like hoppy beers. This thing was
It's
Blowing
All
up
right,
my
this could
face.
get
It's
off.
lewd.
This could get off the rail real quick.
Yes,
let's
it
go
could.
back. Let's try some beer.
Yeah, let's try some beers right
All
now.
right.
So you brought in some of your beers that you brew. So
Sure.
what do we got first here? It looks awfully cloudy for my palate. What do you got here, pal?
The first beer is I did a batch with Lionbridge down at Lionbridge Brewing Company here in
A
Cedar
little
Rapids.
collaboration.
Little
I like
collaboration. We called it Living the Dream. So this is the Lionbridge version. This is from a crowler I got at Need about a week ago. So it's looking a little oxidized, still pretty good.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
And you know what's so cool is I saw Lionbridge release this beer after Matt collaborated with them. I had this beer on my deck. Here is my actual picture. I gave it a 4 out of 5 on Untapped.
That's not beer, that's orange juice.
solid.
Well, it was a thing
that's
of beauty.
supposed to be,
Well
yeah.
done.
Yeah, it turned out really nice.
And the way this tight rates beer, 4 is
know,
4
right?
is very, very high.
You know, Matt,
We'll
when I
take
see
it.
this, I'm such a girl when I do this, but I want to take up my phone and do a Snapchat. I just love the way this looks.
Nobody
Yeah.
snaps better than James
No,
Larson.
nobody's
Nobody
snap
does.
story
Nobody does.
is
No.
better than mine. What's beer number 2 as we continue moving
So
on?
beer number 2 is a pilot batch I did at home, the Living the Dream. So I brewed
Same beer.
same beer with some slight tweaks when we went to
Tastes a
the
little
commercial
different.
side. We
Okay,
made
so
some
we've-
adjustments.
Okay, so we've never done this, and I don't know how many people have the opportunity. So we're trying 2 beers exactly the same, but one brewed commercially versus one brewed at home, and it's your recipe, if you will,
Yeah,
right?
really the minor changes. I mean,
What-
we
okay,
had to
so-
get a different
yeah.
hop. Was
What
all.
I'm trying to
A different
understand
hop.
is
Yep.
what was the reason that Lionbridge said, hey, we want Matt Franklin to bring that recipe into our brewery, brew it here, and then let's distribute it.
Oh, sure.
What-
Well,
why?
I've known Quentin a long time. He's the owner of Lionbridge. He's actually in our homebrew club in the early 2000s before he moved to Colorado and worked at Fort Collins, their brewery, and then came back to Cedar Rapids and started a brewery. So he was in our homebrew club before he was a pro brewer. And that's actually, we have, I think, 4 guys now that have gone pro that have come through our homebrew
Let
club.
me ask you a personal question real quick. When you talk about markup in beer,
Mm-hmm.
when you brew all this beer, if you were to sell this, say, on the street, give me an idea of what the percentage of markup there is in beer like this. If you had to just guess, we won't hold you to it, but it's quite significant, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty significant. A lot of it is just time and ingredients, and and like these Northeast IPAs, they have ridiculous amounts of hops, and they're just super expensive to brew. That's why they're like $7 a pint instead of 6 or 5.
And Drew, you know what? I couldn't do this at home because you know what would happen at my house.
Well, I was thinking about maybe we should start a brewery called James Basement Water.
yeah, but
How
we
about
got
that
the cat
for,
Squeaky. Squeaky would ruin
Yeah?
the whole thing. All right,
Okay, all right.
this last one, I know I'm going to like this. Tell everybody the last one here. You talk while I take a little sip.
All right, last one is a sour beer I just kegged last night, so it's slightly carbonated.
Woo!
It's there.
It's there.
So it's actually a beer. I made one beer. It was a Belgian double. I split off 2.5 gallons into a separate fermenter once it was done, and then added bottle dregs, just the bottom of a bottle of Pizza Port. What was the beer?
And 8 boxes of
So
sweet
we're
tarts.
going
I taste
for
wine. Is that the
we
wine
gotta-
I'm tasting? I'm tasting a little wine with the...
A lot of the qualities you get out of sour beers that are naturally sour, not
Okay.
kettle soured, they have the same type of flavors of wine. It's even sour beers is kind of the gateway for wine drinkers into beer. A lot.
Because
of
Drew,
times.
I've got
So
a
your expression that you were yipping about
Yeah,
was
yeah.
the sour pucker experience.
Felt like Sunday morning down at the
Yeah.
First Lutheran here.
Yeah,
Taking that
yeah.
shot after the out of the chalice. All right, so as we wrap this up, if somebody wants to be a home brewer, is it a lot of work? Is it too much work? Does your house smell? Do the animals get, the kids going to knock over the beakers?
Yes and no. It really just depends on where you go with the hobby. It's a wide range. It can be really minor, really involved. So it's easy to get involved in. It doesn't take a lot of equipment.
So
to get
do you
started.
recommend them joining an organization like yours if
It
they want to
certainly
become
helps.
a home brewer?
Yeah, in fact, I think in November down at Nubo, we might do some live brewing down there during the day on a Saturday. I think the first Saturday in November is when we're doing that. When we're doing that. And that's a good opportunity to see a wide variety of different equipment going at one time and see what it's all about.
And Matt, you were telling me one of the neat things about the Cedar Rapids Brewing Society and this event was that you guys all come together as beer lovers, beer drinkers, and you give the money to charity.
Yeah, so it's a fundraiser. We donate the money to Pints for Prostates. Try to cover our costs. We're not going in the red all the time.
Obviously.
But and then as the festival grows, we'd like to add more local charities. So, we give a chunk to Pints for Prostates, maybe partner with other local charities and just continue to grow the festival and grow the donations.
That's awesome.
That's Matt Franklin, president of the Cedar Rapids Brewing Society, our guest this week on the Craft Beer Corner. I want to thank my co-hosts, as always, Drew and Kirk, for joining us. And do me a favor, share this page, tell your friends.
And do me a favor, James, the next time you go to Beverly Hills to shop, take me with you.
Okay. It's the Craft Beer Corner where we're making beer drinking great again, you knucklehead.